if you stay impeccable 100% of the time, and then the low frequency engagement don't affect you anymore, that creates a positive feedback loop, because there's easier and easier to stay high frequency because you engage in less and less low frequency stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you encourage that high frequency stuff. Many years ago, when in 2010, when we talked about expanding our awareness and raising our frequency and the vibration and all that type of stuff, many people asked about that being persistent through time and space. Many people came back with questions such as, my intent is to stay high frequency, but I find that mostly I don't. During the day, I'm full of stress, worry, anger, frustration, fears, lots of fears are all over the place, firewalls, jealousies, and you name it, I feel them and I engage in them. And I try not to. And actually, I've been depressed for the past 10 years and I can't get out of it.
Right.
It's a failure at it.
So this was a situation that I heard of a lot in 2010. And my answer was, don't despair. You're going to have, your aim the first week is to have 20 seconds per day of stepping out of that skunk, right? Stepping out of it. And that 20 seconds, the next week is going to be 25 seconds. And then you're going to find about third or fifth week that during the day, you're going to have split seconds every now and then where you're out of it. So your frequency is going to go like this, of traveling, and then occasionally goes like that, right? Like this, because you're doing that work. You're doing that work. And then eventually it's going to go like this, and it's going to be more like more bits during the day that you're going to feel that high frequency. And then you're going to be more, eventually you're going to be like this, and it's going to go like that, right? Right. And your aim is to, when that starts happening, you catch yourself and you bring yourself up. So it's going to be like this. And during the split, this is what at the moment we can aim for, because there's still a lot of invitations from down here to pull you down. So, but eventually, yeah, we were going to be up here, and even then we're going to have whoosh into high frequency even, you know. So that is mostly like a visual, and I'm using my hand to go up and down in kind of waveform. If you're listening to this and you're not seeing it, it's like a dip, right? So you're constant in one frequency and you dip down or you dip up. So when somebody in 2010, it was a dip up in frequency, but it happened not very regularly. So their job was to hold it for 20 seconds, the dip up, hold it for 20 seconds once a day. And the next week, then twice a day or 3 times a day. And then the gaps between the high frequency, between the high frequencies become smaller, right? Until actually the experience of life is high frequency with dips into the dark, low frequency stuff. And then eventually the low frequency stuff is not dips at all, it's just little undulations. And then eventually you're going to be high frequency, and then even more high frequency. So it's like the dips and stuff, you make the space between the high frequency smaller and smaller and smaller in your life, in time space. And eventually they will match and they come together and it'll just be high frequency.